Hello, everybody. This is Russell, your host of WTF, and that's What the Fixed Ops to all of you. And I'm joined today by...
Hello, everyone. I'm Charity. I'm the co-host here. And today we have Henry Pimentel. He's the Fixed Ops Director at Capital Chevy. Very active online, and we can't wait to hear more about you.
Well, I started it 23 years ago. I started it on a part-time job, still a part-time, right? It became a full-time quickly. Really impressed with the automotive industry. My family has a background on it. And I fall into it and I fall in love with it. I'm passionate about it. It's like playing a sports or anything that you like. You must love what you like, what you do. Otherwise, you won't have fun with it.
Absolutely.
I went through different departments, and I love it. I'm here 23 years later and still counting.
Where did you actually start? Can you share a little bit of your journey and how you got to where you're at right now? Because I know that where you're at right now, there's some even bigger things in store for you.
Absolutely. I started it with parts. I started it as a driver. Then from a driver, I became a back counter person. And then I had the opportunity to become an assistant parts manager, became a parts manager. Then after that, I got promoted to be the parts and service director. Then when I did that, that's when I came to a new challenges. And all of this happened back in Florida. I started in Orlando, Florida, and for a Ford Motor Company at that point. Then they had a team of lead guys back then where we would travel to different places to fix locations, and which I was one of them. And I learned, and I'm pretty blessed with the opportunity to learn the ins and out of the business. And not only that, it gave a person like me the opportunity to be above and beyond anybody else back then. Then when I moved to Texas, I was promoted to run a location down on the south of Texas. And I learned a lot as a service director. Then I learned more as a fixing teams, which is, it becomes really hard nowadays when you have to fix a broken store. It's easy when the store is fixed and you can run and do anything, right? But when it's broken, you have to become a leader, you have to coach, you have to train, you have to have a lot of patience. And not only that, you have to create the way because they haven't seen it before.
Right.
And to be honest, that's when I went really passionate about the business, where I started teaching my employees, and they became better than me, and they got promoted and they move on their careers. That gave me a self-rewarding and satisfaction of seeing others growing on their path. And even till now, 23 years later, I still talk to these people who mentor me, which are surpassing on their careers. But I never lost the humble touch of calling them back just to check on them.
That's awesome. So I met Henry many, many years ago. He was a fixed ops director for South Fork CDJR. At that time, it was part of the Affinitive, or earlier than that, it was Quattro Automotive Group, and became Affinitive. And then he became the general manager at that store, and then they sold. They sold all but one of the stores. A little longer story there. But I got to know Henry not real well at that time, but better than I did at some of the other stores, just because that was their flagship, their mother store, and the numbers they were churning were just off the charts. And it went from an old facility to a completely renovated, beautiful, like Taj Mahal type of situation. And I kept up with him after that. And then now he's at Capital Chevy, which is, this is a monster store. It is a monster store. And Capital Chevy, for those of you who don't know, is part of the Berkshire Hathaway organizations. Used to be Van Tile, and everybody knows Van Tile. What's his name? What's that? What is the tycoon's guy's name? Hold on, I forgot. I had a brain fart. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, yeah. Because I worked for Van Tile many, many, many years ago, and it was the most profitable privately held automotive group in the world. And Warren Buffett knew what he was getting into, and he wanted to buy that system and that process. Not to mention, let's really talk about what it's a lot of it's about is the property, because I mean the property is like in major places. But anyway, Henry and I got to know each other a little bit better over the last few months, interacting, and long story. And here Henry is, and I'd like to ask you this, Henry, how do you keep your team motivated? I see you get lots of ways that you show appreciation to your staff. I see them almost daily online on LinkedIn. What have you found that works best, or is there any one thing, or is it a combination of things?
A combination. I learned a lot from one of my mentors, Bruce Glasscock, that it's not about the building, it's not about their paycheck, it's about the people. And when you put that as the priority of the business, the results are going to come to your customers. They're gonna be seeing happy people and real smiling, right? Instead of faking the smile. And it's about taking care of your team. Obviously, with the evolution of the business, now I know that it's about giving the stuff away instead of putting that on their paychecks, right? I grew up on the industry where I'll give you a bonus for X amount and you'll leave it on your check, and it got to the point that you didn't even feel as a reward, was just as another pay structure, right? Now when I give the stuff away, I can see the people happy about it, because if they had the money, they would have never bought that item. Now I enjoy doing it, and it becomes a challenge now because I got to improve every week, right? So they're expecting. I've been giving away trips. I've been giving away the vacation, a short vacation. I've been giving away products. I've been giving away dinners. Some of them, they don't want to be on social media, so I will buy their dinners for their spouse or kids, depending on. And to be honest with you, all of that reward comes back by great customer service, or CSI, which that's how the manufacturer knows that we're making our customer happy. We're on the top 25 of the country. Our productions were number one in Texas. And everybody that comes in can feel the good energy. And to be honest with that, I will do this every year, every month if I could, just to show the gratitude that we have as a company, that we care about you as the employee. And once again, going back to what Bruce taught me through all this year, just take care of the people. We focus on taking care of other things that is not as valuable. And our number one access here is our people. Take care of our people and really listen to them, really coach them, and everything else will fall in place.
I see you everywhere. As a matter of fact, I think it was today or yesterday, but you do a lot of promoting and team building with your staff. You record some of it, you post it on LinkedIn and other social media circles. Like this morning, I made particular note. Somebody, you had one of your advisors or maybe techs that was holding a sound bar, something they want. Another guy, what do you call it, a rumba, where it automatically, whatever it is. And I forgot what the other thing. But I think that has much more meaning than, we'll just put a little spiff on your paycheck or something like that, because you're recognizing them and you're putting them out there. And man, that means so much to people. Bruce used to do that. Bruce we might have to edit this part out, but because that's how I met Henry, through Bruce. Bruce, I don't know how many stores they had at one time, but I've known him my entire tenure with 3 different companies. I met him with my first one, Car Research. He believed so much in what we were doing, and he would, unlike most general managers, let alone dealer principals and owners like he and Alfred were, if you had something, he would set time aside to take a look at what you had. He was always looking for new opportunities, cutting edge stuff, and he would try it out, and it either worked or it didn't work. And then he just promoted that company or that technology from there. And I mean, you don't meet too many people like that. He's a people person.
Yeah, a truly people person. The title doesn't get on the way or anything like that gets in the way. And another thing that helps me out here is having the backup from the partner of the store. Lincoln Stahl has the same vision and the same ideas of taking care of people. He does it on the front of the house and have been doing it on the back of the house. But now with him and I combined, it's a win-win case. I mean, for the employees, everybody's happy. We obviously want to win, right?
Sure.
And the only thing that I like to facilitate is giving a good culture, and that's how you can grow. A lot of the places forgets about culture, and the culture starts from myself, and it goes all the way down to the person who cleans the dealership. It gets to the point that even the people who cleans the dealership, they also get rewarded by me. They just don't want to get on social media, but I take care of them as well. I think it's important to be the person who cleans my coffee machine, who brings the bottles of water, who does this. Everybody. I don't mind who it is. It just either you are in it to win or you're not. So I'm 100% committed to the employees. I'm a hard person on being okay. We're being second place. I don't like that. I like to win, and I like to win the right way, not cheating, not cutting corners. So if we're going to ask for this, let's do it right. Why? And then doing a small gift, and then don't do it. Just do something they will never buy. The price will come second to none. By the time that you get the full satisfaction out of your customers and employees, which is my number one priority.
Well, you had to have had some of that before you met Bruce and Alfred, before you came into their lives. Is that something you learned like early on, the way you were raised? I'm just curious.
Well, I played baseball. My parents, my mother, my brothers, my older brothers, they taught me how it was to be a family oriented kind of person from my house when I was a child. But I got a really good mentors in the industry. I got mentors from Florida. I got where they taught me a lot of the base and the structure, right? And I got more of the foundation when I moved to Texas. I got Alfred Flores who helped me, Chris Godwin. I got Thomas Walk, Jesse Rodriguez. I have a lot of people who taught me to think outside the box at once, and I just put everything together with my own mix. The biggest thing that I want to do something different. I don't want to be your typical parts and service manager who only sits in the office and just look at the numbers and review the potential gain or not. No, I like to be on the service drive, but I don't like to be in the office. I like to be active, moving cars, shaking hands, hugging, greeting, whatever it takes. So that way you can be proactive on how your day is going to be. And I learned from all these people. They taught me from reading emails to the way that you speak, the way that you react to things. And that makes a huge change. It's a lot of egos in this industry because everybody fun. You'll know. It's not about being number one. It's about building the right foundation. And then from there, you can compete and succeed. I'm really blessed with this company so far. They respect me. They allow me to be me and show that on social media. And then even having the opportunity to talk to you guys to open the eyes on a lot of people or my colleagues where they are afraid to do things because, well, maybe the dealer principal won't allow you to do it. Maybe the general manager will restrain on how much can you spend. And that's what I love it here. I don't have any of that. I got full control, full power to do whatever I need to do. And not only that, I'm leading the new path for my competition that now they will be friends so they can do the same thing. Yeah. Why not? Let's do it.
Well, some of the things you're leading the path for is Berkshire Hathaway themselves on thinking outside the box in certain ways, which is really great. Charity.
Yeah, well, that's really interesting. I've never heard anyone say, cash, there's a place for it, but by purchasing something and giving it away that they wouldn't normally buy, you have more thread on that, which is really interesting. And it seems like you have similar tactics for your customers. Do you have a similar customer satisfaction strategy?
Oh, yes. I also like to support our military family. It's something that I believe in. Anyone who serves, I think it deserves something. They already did enough for us to be here and have a freedom. So I give services away to clients once a month. I pick two customers. The amount of the repair doesn't matter, but it has to be someone who served. They are on the needs, and I'll take care of their vehicles. Wow. So far, I've done 8. And I love it. The satisfaction that I see by them shaking my hand and hugging me. Some of them, they call me son, kid. I mean, you name it. I love that. And you can feel how warm is that hug from the customer. I'm saying, you know what, Henry, thank you for doing that. And that's totally satisfaction. It is 1,000%. Any customers that have been on the military, I'll take care of their bill. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. Some of them, they don't want to be exposed and they don't want to talk about it. But
Sure.
some, they don't mind at all. They don't mind at all. And I'm okay with that. We do it like that. We also do a lot of goodwill repairs on customers that they can't afford to buy tires or brakes. I just take care of it. That's not a
Wow.
problem.
Yeah.
As long as they're loyal to the manufacturer and been loyal to us, and that they're going to continue to come here. Our business is really competitive, as you all know. And at this point, it's about the people. If you don't work on that, including your customers, and then you'll be out of the business. And definitely that's not the case here.
Yeah, that's serving. Did you serve as well, Henry?
No, I did not.
Okay. Yeah, it means a lot to a lot of people, and it really does. And what you're talking about, the way that's servant leadership, not just leadership, servant leadership, by the way you give back and pour into your people. It's a good example for a lot of people that are going to be watching this to share. I know a lot of people are talking about it, and there's some kind of paradigm shift taking place in fixed operations where it's not the do what I say. It's not that anymore. It's like you're an example. You're a trendsetter. You're out there in the lane. You're talking to advisors. You're talking to technicians. You're lifting them up. You're supporting them. You're involved in the community. You're going to go really far that way. And I know there's people like you mentioned that'll take shortcuts, but it all comes out in the wash eventually. It all comes out in the wash. Great question, Charity. Another one?
Yeah. Well, speaking about people and servant leadership, we hear this a lot. It's all about the people. And I wanted to know, what does that specifically mean for you?
For me, is for my new journey, right? I and Russell was talking about what I had done previously. So I've been on the back of the house. I've been on the front of the house. I've been on my house. I've been in different places, right? Well, and the reason I'm about to bring that up is you can succeed as an employee and then as a captain, right? But you also have to succeed as a family man, right? After learning from everything that happened to me on the last 2 years, I understood the only thing that matters at the end of the day is your people. If you coach them and train them the right way for them to achieve something on their life, either buying a watch or buying a house or having a second baby or having a second mortgage, that at the end is where I get my satisfaction at this level of my career. Being number one of the city is great. Financially, obviously helps, but that's not enough anymore for me. It's about growing my staff so they can take over, right? I want to make sure that the business is going to be taken care of for the next 20, 30 years. So that way we can continue to strive for excellence. If not, and then we're just going to computers, then nobody's going to be able to shake your hand anymore. And on some of the states that I won't mention, they are already doing that. It's okay to go to a machine, drop off your keys, and be done with it. I don't want that. I still believe on the handshake. I still believe on the hug. I still believe on the face-to-face customer relationship. Even though that the technology is pushing you to text all the time, right? And to go through emails, but a phone call sometimes they help, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm a believer. I want to hold as much as I can of my old school. I want to hold it as much as I can to preserve the people person, the people touch. And that's what I'm striving for, to grow my staff so they can have a better career moving forward.
You said something, and maybe there's something to it or not, but you mentioned in the last 2 years, and you talked about family. Is there something that happened in the last 2 years that
Yes,
made you dig a little deeper, if you wouldn't mind sharing that?
absolutely. Once after I became a GM, obviously your ego goes up and you feel that you're untouchable, right? And at the end of the day, the people who support you is your family. My wife, in this case, right? She's seen me going from being just a parts person all the way down to a GM, which is the highest that you can go in the industry, and then you can become a dealer principal. But at the end of the day, you got to think about how you started it and where you come from. And she supported me a lot for the last 2 years. I moved from Houston to Austin. which I love this city, by the way. And it's hard. Moving your family is hard. Moving your kids is hard. And without her, so that's why I'm saying the last 2 years is tough moving around. When you thought that you knew it all, when you thought that, okay, this is it for me, Houston will be the end of my career, then you realize it's not. Things changes and you have to be able to evolve and improve yourself. And every day I see it as a new challenge. And once again, I couldn't do it without God and I couldn't do it without my wife. That's the two people in my life that I need to support me and keep me centered. Now, this new journey is about the people. I want to train people. I want to get them better. And that I'm really enjoying it. I really am.
Yeah, I can tell. I mean, I really can with all the posts. I didn't see that before when you were at South Fork, or not near to this degree. Here's a great question. I hear you broke an unbeatable record at your store in the first month, 1.5 million.
Yes, sir.
Wow. How did you pull that one off? That's for fixed ops. That is a lot.
Well, that's for labor only. We actually ended doing $2.3 million.
Jeez.
That's including parts.
Wow.
Well, I got in and I was full of energy. I took some time.
Not Henry.
I took some time off and I was driving my wife crazy and my kids, right? They're like, Daddy, you got to get back to work. Come on, just get out of the house. So I came and I analyzed the business. I was prepared to run, and I did. I just came super passionate. This is a great team here. My team here support me 1,000%, and I support them. And to be honest with you, it was a perfect relationship. They needed the lead, and I needed the body, and it was perfect. It was a plug and play. Plus, the general manager here, him and I, we know each other for probably about 8 years now. And it was amazing. It was nothing new to me. It was just a new office pretty much. But everything else was natural. And we have been breaking records after that. And the way they were pleasing our customers, or repairs are going in and out through the shop even faster. Mm-hmm. #1 Corvette dealership in Austin. I mean, you name it. It's magical for sure.
Yeah. And Austin's big. It's a highly, highly competitive market, very progressive. So I worked for that type of organization back when it was Van Tile. It's a machine. It is a machine. And in comes a new guy, or out goes the old, in comes a new guy. Did that bother you? Were you put through the ringer? Said, oh, here's another one. See how long he's going to last. Did any of that happen? You're laughing. Something must have happened.
Absolutely. I quick story. So I came and I always tell myself my first week I'm just gonna analyze and I'm just gonna take notes and see what we can change. That lasted 48 hours, right? And I had my first meeting with the service advisors. I talked to the techs and I talked to the service advisors, and I was pretty specific on what I wanted and how we're gonna run the show. And I told them, and the reason I'm laughing is because this conversation came up today, this story. So I told them, I said, hey guys, this is what we're going to move forward. We're going to be running fast, but we're going to be efficient in how we're going to do it. And listen, all of y'all don't have to run. It's okay. You can go ahead and resign and pick up your stuff and put them in a little box. I will supply the box for you. And just make sure, don't let the door hit you on your way out. And I thought, it's okay. You can run with me. But I'll make sure that if you do run with me, you're going to be super happy at the end of the month. You're going to be rewarded. You guys are going to get paid. Your families are going to be happy. Your wives are going to forgive you for all the time that you guys have spent here. And I have a lot of ladies advisors here. I got 5. And so I told them as well, hey, I understand the sacrifices we got to do. But if we are here, we're going to perform to the highest level. I'm not going to allow laziness. I'm not going to allow, oh, it's okay to do it tomorrow. So it's a few things that I eliminated. Tomorrow doesn't exist in this dealership. Today. It's today, now, maybe later, but still on the same day, right?
Sure.
What's funny is one of the ladies that I've been coaching since I got here, she mentioned to me, Henry, hey, you were right about it. At least I kept up with you for 3 months, but now she's going to get promoted, right? So she said, well, it doesn't count. You didn't kick me out. I'm getting promoted on my own. Okay, good.
I love that.
She's still going to be here with the company. So I'm extremely happy for her. But it's funny that she brought that up. And people thought that I was crazy. I talked to them about doing our diagnostics on 24 hours. I talked to them about doing the giveaways. I talked to them about our social media presence. Everything that we're doing now, that's what we talk about. And on the beginning, they're like, well, this guy is crazy. We never seen that before. There's no way he's going to keep up with that every day. I said, oh, no, I will. Trust me, I will. So now we're just a big family.
That's I got one thing, and then I know. So I hear all the time. We all hear all the time. There's only the most important thing is the customer, the client, the guest, whatever you want to call the end result, right? The person that's coming on to our dealership or calling the dealership, etc. What I find fascinating is, if you want, and this was from Allie Peters. If you're so involved with your people, they enjoy coming to work and working under you with your ideas. They're bought in, you're a hand raiser because you're out there in the trenches too. If they're happy and they're taken care of, then they're going to take care of your guest exactly the same way. But if they're not, it's all about the guest. I don't care, blah, 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 whatever. No, if your people aren't happy, your guests are not going to be happy. And it seems that you've figured that out. If your people are happy, your guests are automatically going to be the recipients of that. Is that right?
Bingo. And that's the point. Before, I used to handle just the customer. And then I went through a lot of employees through my career that I wish I would have think like this 23 years ago. Why? Because the fundamentals of the business, they tell you that it's whatever the customer say, the customer is always right. However, we change. And now it's about the people. If you give your employees the satisfaction that you're expecting, and now everything else comes transparent to them. They're not faking it a smile. They're going to call you. They're going to serve you. And now you're going to pay them based on how they improve their day to day. Some people don't like to see it that way. They still believe that it's about the customer, which it is. However, the employee is the number one piece or assets that we have to improve our potentials here.
Let me guess, at this very moment, another vendor is walking up to your lot with something shiny to sell. Before you head back and hide in your office, let me take a minute to tell you about my friend Dawn Pelham and my friends over at Global Dealer Solutions. They exist to help you find solutions to problems, some of which you might not even know you have. Best of all, they can manage as many products and services as needed for you, helping cut down on multiple vendor visits and distractions. And if you need anything, you have one number to call or text for the response all dealers like to hear. On it, GDS understands that successful dealerships require more than a set it and forget it mentality. And they'll be with you every step of the way, from setup, implementation, training, and support. And if necessary, they'll even cancel non-performing products for you. No pushback, no arguments, just a solution here executing course corrections as needed. Check out gdsdealers.com to learn the difference and set up a time to meet. Let's see if they're a good fit for you.
That's right.
As we all know, is so many competition down there that, an employee, the difference they make moving from one dealership to the other is us as the leaders. We have to be able to listen to them, to coach them, to even to the best advisor. You have to be able to coach him. He needs to see something on you that he haven't seen so you can take him to the next level.
Yeah. Well done. Sherry?
Yeah. It's interesting. I can imagine you, years ago working at the parts counter or, being approached by a mentor, being like a real malleable person, all the way up to today being a leader. So as far as being a leader goes, what sort of responsibilities does a leader innately take on simply by being in that position? And are there any responsibilities that kind of surprised you or took you off guard that you've learned along the way?
Well, it was about being patient. That took me a while. Being patient. Listen listening to your statement, even though that I disagreed, I still needed to listen, right? So I learned, going back to the mentors that I have in my career. I didn't delegate before, and I learned how to delegate. And once I learned how to delegate, then my life came easier. I wanted a perfection every time, perfection every day, and I thought that by myself doing everything will be done correctly. However, I was sacrificing a lot of things. I was sacrificing my time. I was sacrificing my health. I was sacrificing teaching whatever I knew to others. Now my satisfaction is about teaching and seeing them improving. Even currently in the city of Houston, five of the top service directors, I coach them and I train them, and that's my satisfaction. Wow. Me seeing them succeeding to the highest level. That's all I wanted it. And then my mentors see that, and now I'm doing that, and they get happy for me as well. They're like, "You see, I told you. You should have listened to me 10 years ago."
Yeah.
What up? I said, hey, it's okay. Everything comes to you into the right time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you fail your way into success. And
Right.
My acronym for FAIL is just first attempt in learning. To be where you're at, you have to make a lot of mistakes. But you grow from those. Not everybody does. They keep repeating the same ones over and over and over again. But you kind of figured some things out, like the art of delegation, loving and pouring into your people, not being afraid to teach them, and maybe one day they take your job from you or something like that. That's a very mature mindset.
Yeah, and last that I forgot to mention, giving them a second chance. I think on the beginning of my career, I didn't give a second chance to anybody, including my boss, including anybody over me or under me. I was pretty much black and white, and I didn't allow any gray to be on my vision. Now that I'm more senior in the industry, I understand that if I would have made some changes, I would have helped people to coach them through their mistakes, because now I know that the mistakes, you need them in order to grow.
That's right.
Otherwise, you never grow. And with that being said, I'm now coaching the new staff on that perspective to understand the new managers that are coming up on the industry. Hey guys, no, I know the book is telling you need to fire this person. I get it, because I was one of them. However, think about it. See it from another angle. See what else can you do? Have you done this? Have you done that? And they go, okay. Now they're telling me, Henry, I'm not getting all. I'm just on the quality. It's not that much quality up there. So why not spending a little more time with that person? As long as he was still, everybody deserves a second chance.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I've had many mentors in my life, and some of them have given me more than a second, third, or even fourth chance. And for that, I'm truly grateful, or I would not be where I'm at today. You can tell if somebody takes responsibility and they get it, and they're not just lip service, but it's a real change. They got it, and they want that second chance. And I bet you've seen a lot of people that you have given second chances to that have just really flourished.
Yes. They become your best employee. They become your best friend. And not only that, now you'll become a mentor for life.
Yeah. And then sometimes, unfortunately, they got to go. But you can tell the difference in the ones that you give a chance to versus the ones not. Wow.
Sorry, Russell.
No, I'm done. Go ahead, Sherry.
Do you think, Henry, that running a team is a lot like a family?
Great question.
Yes, 1,000%. Now, some days I feel that I'm the dad, and some other days I feel that I'm the son. It varies depending on the day. We go through arguments, and I like that. I went through an argument with one of my senior advisors here. It was a heated argument, and after that, we hug it out and kiss each other. It is what it is.
Wow, that's good.
It is not, if you see it from different angles, we both want the same thing. How are we going to satisfy the customer? However, for me is let's do it right, and let's do it right the first time. right? So if we can prevent doing it in the second time, always going to look for that. We want to make sure that customers satisfied the first visit. If it took a second visit, that's fine. Let's apologize, make it better, accept our mistake, and move forward. But it is a family. It is a family. Absolutely. We're here all day long. We spend more time here than what we spend at home. And even a lot of my meetings, I don't do my normal meeting at the store anymore. I like to take it outside of the store. And the reason for that is you get to see the real person when you're out of the store. My only rule is we're not going to talk about work. I want to get to know you. I want you to get to meet Henry, who has kids, dogs, who has a family, right? And they got to be able to see that. And now they can relate to you a little bit more on a personal level. A lot of the cases and a lot of the books tells you to don't do that. Keep it business. I understand that, but this is beyond business. This is a family to me. So that's why a lot of my meetings as well, I'm doing out of the store, either to have breakfast or bowling or anything that what it is. And I do it with the techs and the advisors separately and my managers too. I take them out and their spouses. Hey, let's go ahead and eat outside of it. Let's get to talk about other things so they can get a fresh air. And it's not the constant beating of what we need to do or what we're behind.
Wow. Just listening to that, and I don't know what it was like before you got there, but somebody either they left or they were forced to leave, etc. But it was time for a change. You were the product of that change, and you come in, and that culture, and a lot of those people were probably there with the old culture, right? And now they see all this stuff that you're doing now. I can just tell from the videos that you do and the way you lift people up and the meetings that you have and how you pay it forward. That we're talking, just as Charity said, it's like a family. Yep, yeah. Like a family. Go ahead, Charity.
Yeah, well, I was going to switch topic a little bit on you and talk about change and how that can incite fear, but it can also open a new chapter in life. And so I wanted to ask you, how do you approach change? And I'm sure, your employees would have an idea of what it was like as well when you first came on board and the change that happened. But what does that mean to you?
Change is good. It is good as long it is on a square where you can control, right? It's things that you cannot control, like the economy. It can go up and down, right? Or interest rate on houses. Trust me, I got to find out quickly.
Oh no.
Gas price, right? But that's the change that I don't like, right? The one that I got to spend money. But the changes on positive attitude is always good. Positive attitude is always good. Changing the morale, changing the pace. For some people, don't like that. And to be honest with y'all, for some of them on the beginning, no, he's going to be charging us the gift. He's going to be doing this. They just couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. They was honest. There was truthfully something for you, right? They're like, well, I'm sure I'm going to pay the taxes at the end of the day. No, you're not paying for anything.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. Yeah. It's a gift. You don't have to give it back to me. If you're But the reality is the change is good as long as it's a positive change. Anything, when we change clothes, when we lose weight and we got to get new clothes, or when we gain weight and we got to get new clothes.
What are you saying, Henry?
But it's like getting a new car, or anyone who buys a new pair of shoes. On the first year, you're going to try to keep those shoes as clean as you can. Then after 3 years, you don't pay that much attention to them. Same thing happens with employees. You have to be able to keep that change. You have to keep it. You got to keep evolving. They don't know what I'm going to give away. They don't know what I'm doing. They don't know where the meeting is at. I change the protocol every time. And you got to be able to have a pulse of your staff. You want to know where you're at with your techs and with your advisors. You want to know where they're at. You're going to know when it's the time to take them out of the store. You're going to know when it's the time to keep them in the store. You're going to know when it's the time to push and when it's not the time to push. So that's why changing, I'm basically that person all day long. I'm changing the temperature, changing the way that I talk to them, my voice, my text messages go in a different way, different time. So they'll never know what I'm doing. They don't know that. You want to keep them on their heels.
Well, it's a great question, Charity. change is really the only constant.
Yeah.
And something that came to mind earlier when you were talking about that in order to get something done, you felt like you had to do it yourself. Man, the tremendous burden that puts on your family, yourself, your employees, letting people go, not building people up, etc. Something wherever I resisted change the most is right where I needed to change. And at some point in time, you realize that, obviously, because of the way you used to operate and what you've learned and how you're operating now. It's almost like night and day. And
Yes.
one was productive and you're happy and healthy and your family was on board and supportive, and the other was not good.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's amazing. And all the reflection goes back to your house, how they see you changing, what you had done, what you're doing, and for them too, for the employee as well. When it's a positive change or something that is going to help them improve their day to day, I got a lot of text messages from their wives, spouse, and
Wow.
who cares, and hey, thank you. You make him change, right? And that's what it is. Now, moving along, it wasn't easy, right? Once you have your family established in the city, it's hard. But once again, like you said, when that portion is hard or that piece of the pie is hard, that's when you want to change. That's what you need.
It's like when we were talking earlier, Henry, and you were talking about the mentorship, the leadership, and the people that you work with are your family. That's really important because I found that there was probably one point where I was like that. I didn't want to delegate as I was climbing that ladder, etc. I worked all the time. I didn't pay attention to my family, and and I'd say, you just don't understand. I'd tell my wife, you just don't understand all the pressure and stress and everything that I am going through, right? and you're not being supportive. And what I realized, really, anytime that I'm focusing on somebody else and they need to change, that's a real sign that first of all, you're not going to change anybody. But if I change myself, it appears that other people have changed, and I didn't do anything except change myself, how I act and react, what I do with people, how I treat people, etc. But blaming other people, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have the happiest marriage I've ever had in my entire life. And is it because I changed her or she changed me? No, not at all. It is all about the family. So when you were talking earlier, and that the wives are commenting and letting you know how happy their husbands or their wives are, etc., under your guidance, it's like when we were talking earlier, when you focus on your people and they're happy, then the guests are going to be a reflection of that. Well, that also happens when they go home at night too. Yep. Okay, because they had a good day. The recipients of that are their family, and they don't come home because, let's face it, you think everybody really, right before they walk in the door, they just hang up their day on the tree and that's it? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
So they take that home with them. Great stuff, man. Oh, wow. Good stuff.
Want me to throw another one out there?
Yeah, throw one out there.
All right. Well, we're running out of time, so I'm going to speed along a little bit.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Tell us about some common obstacles you see from your team on an everyday basis. And I'll give you some examples. Do you hear excuses? Do they lack motivation? So how do you help? What are some of these common issues that you see, and how do you help your team overcome those obstacles? Great
question. Well, it's a great question because I go through this every day.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is the customer satisfaction. The way that the customer perceived how they needed to be helped compared to how the advisor thinks it needs to help them. Okay. And what I mean with that, to break that down, is for a customer waiting on the lounge for 10 minutes is basically 1 hour, right? 10 minutes equals to about that. So if they waited 20 minutes, 2 hours. So I'm trying to coach to understand that people don't have the same patience that we used to have 10, 15 years ago coming into service. It was okay back then to drop off the car. It was okay back then to get a shuttle drive or do this and that. Nowadays, they don't have the time for that. People has a short lifespan, and when they come to get an oil change, on their eyes is they got max 20 minutes. And we know realistically, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen in 20 minutes. By the time that we get everything wrote up and go through wash, check if it has any open recalls, and then have a vehicle multiple inspection and do all the diligence that we have to do to keep the vehicle safe, it's longer than that. So now what I'm doing is creating a factor where I'm having the advisor to spend 5 minutes with the customer talking about anything.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. I hired plenty of staff where everybody's going to be covered, and they mostly spend 5 minutes with each client just to talk about their life, how is the weather, where you come from, and all those kind of things. And that will buy you enough time to give that customer to understand that you care, that you truly care, right? And I told them I cannot force you to do it. It has to be naturally coming from you, where you can sit down and just offer him a cup of coffee, or maybe drink a cup of coffee with the client. The little things is what it matters nowadays. And that's where the difficult part that I have for the advisors to understand is not about the big ticket anymore. It's about the little things who's going to give you the consistency for the good quality of service. And that's what I find, the way that we open the door, the way that we greet the customers outside, or famous CSI, which is the customer viewpoint. Every manufacturer has that. Mm-hmm. And every on the dealership has that. Even when you get flowers, I ordered my wife some flowers, and I also get a survey. How was it? Well, you're asking me. I'm the one who paid. But
you're right.
Right? And everywhere that you go to. And you know what? Yes, I agree that you have to have a survey on everything so you can challenge your staff or maybe improve. But at the end of the day, are we really looking for the truth out of that survey? Are we really looking to make the change? Are we really looking to give that customer the details of what they need when they come to see you? They're going to have a happy experience. And that's the biggest challenge that I go through. Having them, the motivation, and this is something I learned a long time ago, I can only do so much on motivation. They have to have their own drive to come here and excel every day. Obviously, I try not to allow any gaps on the lack of energy. I make my day-to-day. I do a speech most of the mornings, and I fight to wake them up, right? But at the end of the day, the customer has to perceive that you care, that when they come in.
It's all that matters.
In details on anything, how we open the door, how we walk them to the lobby, how we walk them to the restrooms, when we go over the MPI. I understand that we want to do it digitally so we can go faster, but at the same time, I want you to spend 5 minutes and just find out how is the customer's day. And by us doing that, that's how I end giving free repairs away, to ensure if someone had a terrible day that you don't know about, we can make it a better day.
Wow. Man, you heard it. I mean, listen, I have the same challenge when I get my car worked on. I have an expectation, which all of us do, and I'm sitting in the waiting area, as comfortable and as many amenities as there are, but I still have an expectation. When someone comes out and communicates with me to let me know what's going on and to smile and at least introduce themselves, I feel a lot better. But to sit there and nobody says anything, and then they've never introduced themselves, they're not smiling, you can tell they're not happy. I've been there an hour longer than my expectations allowed me to think. It's like, look, communication is everything. That's really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Cherry.
Yeah, so I'm gonna throw you one more. Yeah. It's gonna be a little heavy.
Heavy.
A little heavy. Yeah. What is your biggest failure, Henry?
Oh, that's a good question.
Charity's got him. Let me tell you what.
My biggest failure, being impatient. On my career, sometimes before I got to this location, I wanted everything fast. I wanted to go fast. I knew what we're doing, so One, I'm not the one riding the horse. One, I'm not the one owning the horse. One, another one doing this, doing that. And I learned that if I would have slowed down a little bit, I would have been taken care of. And I didn't, just by me going fast. It's not my dealer principal's fault that I'm impatient. So I think that's the biggest failure that I have.
Patience, huh?
Patience.
I'll tell you what. Sometimes when you slow down, you actually speed up.
Yep.
In other areas. That is a great question. I want to throw another one out there, even though we're out of time. Okay, this is another charity question. Okay, she comes off as amazing. When you were younger, was your dream to be a fixed ops director? I think not. But maybe. How have your dreams back then compared to the ultimate outcome of your career and where you're at today? Great question.
When I was a kid, my goal was to play any professional sport or be a coach. That was the two things that I wanted to do. The fix up, actually, it gives me a little bit of both. I have a team.
It does.
Each of them have a different average, so I got to help them. I got to fix my lineup. And coaching, that's what I'm doing every day. I'm really blessed with what I'm doing now. I can't complain financially, and it helped me a lot to build me. Not only that, it got me to meet a lot of people that I would have never met if I wouldn't fall into this position. You get to understand that regardless that we're in this automotive industry, it's about the people. And without this, I wouldn't have the opportunity to meet 130 customers a day. And it's different stories. Each customer has a different stories. I know from doctors, I know from physicians, I know from basketball players, baseball players. I mean, you name it. You have it all at once. Did I ever thought about being a fix-up? No. I just started at a part-time job thinking there was a part-time job, and here we are 23 years later. Still doing it, but I have been really blessed, and I thank everybody who supported me through all these years, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a prediction because things haven't changed too much between Berkshire versus Van Tile. You can write your own ticket. You can go wherever you want to go in that organization, the top of the top, wherever you want to go, and you are, and I think this is a machine that you're in right now. This is Capital Chevy. I'm very familiar with it. I mean, it's a family name renowned throughout entire Austin and suburbs. Capital Chevy. It has a life of its own, and you're part of that culture and changing. Last thing before we say goodbye, but Lee Iacocca, when he turned Chrysler around all those years ago, back in the late 80s, he said, ladies and gentlemen, in the end, you can sum all businesses up to three things: people, products, and profits, the most important of which are your people. And you're proving that every single day. Everybody listen. Henry Pimentel, Fixed Ops Director, Capital Chevy in Austin, Texas. Hey, find him online, see the stuff that he's doing. It might not be a bad idea to adopt some of that, but like him, love him, connect with him. He's a phenomenal talent, great guy, servant leader. Thank you for coming on a very successful WTF. That's what the Fixed Ops. Henry, thank you again.
Yes, thanks, Henry.